Hello, my name is Tarsa129, and I'm currently the main administrator of the Mario Kart Double Dash modding wiki, and I'm making this kind of like an introduction video to go over a bunch of the, I guess, features, ways of doing stuff on the wiki that first-time users might not know. So I'm gonna go over the main page, how to like release a mod on the wiki. One thing you might notice is that I'm logged in right now, and I'm also logged in with an administrator account, so you might see some stuff that you otherwise wouldn't see, especially like up here with the admin links, but just don't worry about that stuff. Everything I do, you can do like as a normal logged in user. Um so to get started, this is the main page. This is the page that I guess everyone sees. At the top here, we have a welcome thing. On the left, we have basically everything, like list of pages, like basically directories. We have original custom tracks, and that's just like tracks that like people make themselves. Then there's retro custom tracks, and that's everything from another Mario Kart game. There's imported custom tracks, and that's where you get your model from another game that's like not a Mario Kart game. All battle arenas, all track edits, all texture hacks, all characters and vehicles, items. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. And then there's the author directory, which is basically every single author that has like a released mod as one of these like boxes. Um, and these boxes basically show all of the authors of the work. I'll go into more detail later. But the main point of like this box is that every single like released mod on the wiki you can get through through 2 clicks from the main page. So if I wanted to go to like In a Cloud, which is some old custom track I made, it's 1 click to go to list of custom tracks, another click to go to In a Cloud. Cool. Um Here we have the community links. Double Crew Discord server. This is the I think it's the only big like it's by far probably the biggest Double Dash modding server, and it's the only dedicated Double Dash modding server I know of. So it's linked here. There's the Double Dash time trialing server, and they have like one channel for like custom track PRs. So if you like that, if you want to like talk to time trialers, I don't know, you could join that. There's the Talk to Them Discord server, and then we have the full page of community links. In the middle here, we have everything related to tutorials. So at the top, we have stuff about MediaWiki and the wiki as a whole. And then after that, once you're situated with the wiki, it's everything that has to do with actually modding Double Dash and making mods for it. And at the bottom of this column, we have making a page, so like releasing the mod that you made on here, and I'll go over that later. And on the very right, we have the latest releases, and this is basically the latest major releases or like major updates that are on the wiki. So we have like this major revision that was at time of recording was today. It got from 1.0 to 2.0, and then there was another like completely new release, and those get here. The like minor updates updated to something like v1.1, which like isn't really great. Actually, I don't know why this is here. But every other like most like minor revisions, they get placed on like the whole news page. So this is going to have some stuff that aren't really on the main news. Like, oh, this wasn't on the main news, a v1.1 update. And that's just so like the bigger stuff can get more attention on the main page for longer. We don't really have. I like to keep these like relatively even, and we don't really have like a lot of space, so I want to keep it for the important stuff. And that's the main page. One last thing of general information that I want to go over is like the wiki team, like moderators. As I said earlier, I'm like the main person who like does most of the stuff. I guess I'm an owner of the wiki. Cool. Then there's Whippinsnapper. He's the one that actually initially set up this wiki on Mirror Haze, and he's listed here for like legacy purposes. I don't think anyone's heard from him in like a year. But he's still remains in our hearts. And then there's Bradilla Boy, who's an administrator. Sometimes I'll ask her to be like, "Hey, can you mention in Double Crew that this change on the wiki?" Um, and she sometimes does stuff if I'm like super busy. But I try to like not annoy her too much. And then there's at time of recording, we have David Slane, who is a trial moderator. And he's actually the one who created this page we're looking at now. So that's the team. Again, I am the main person who's like the most active one. So reach out to me if you have any questions. So let's assume that you have an account. That's not really something I don't think anyone struggled with, and that's not really something I can show. So let's just say you have an account and you have a mod you want to release. I'm just going to say it to track because based on the latest releases, a lot of tracks, not a lot of, characters. So yeah, so let's just say you have a track, and chances are there's not going to be a page on the wiki with that track, just because we don't have a lot of mods, and also there's a lot of different potential names for tracks. So I'm just going to use an example name, like Toadette's Mine, as the example. There's actually not going to be a download, and this page is going to be deleted when I'm done recording for this video. But if you want an example of a fully fleshed out page, that's basically every other page on the wiki. So you're probably going to get something like this red link that's like create the page Toadette's Mine on this wiki. Cool. So you're going to click on this red link and it will take you to the page creation screen. If you want to notice any page, I'm just using Cannons as an example because it's my latest release. They all follow this one like formula, this one kind of like template with like this box on the right to have like basic information, overview, media, version history, then like the author box at the bottom. All of them have this, and instead of being like expecting everyone to like format this from scratch, we have a template. So you want to write this into the empty page, and then let's just show preview. So as you can see, this will give you a like basically what we saw for Cannons, but it's like not filled out at all, and that's great because we have all this formatting, and all we need to do now is fill stuff in. But before we fill stuff in, we need to actually save the page, so that this like substitute the template becomes like the text of the page. Now that's created, we go back into the edit, and now we get to fill in everything. As I said previously, I don't really have a like anything to release. This is just an example. So I'm going to be copying over information from Cannons, close parenthesis, when possible. So first we have the page name. That's just, I just sort of copy and paste it here. Then there's the user page link. So if you've released anything on the wiki before, you'll have this, you'll be able to just put your username into like two brackets, like two square brackets. And then if we show preview, which is a very important button, you'll see that you click on it, you see, you go to my user page and it's redirected from the link that I just clicked. If it's your first time, you probably don't have that, in which case you can just do like user, then your username, and then you want to put a single pipe, and then like your actual username. And what that's going to do is it's going to look the same, but it's going to be like a direct link to the user page, with like the text of just the username. And then what I'm going to do later, as I'll discuss, is I'm going to go through and like just create the redirect for you if you don't do it yourself. Version history, it's important to have versions. I'm we're not really strict on how it has to be formatted. Most people just have like v1.0 for an initial release. You can also have like v beta, v alpha. Some people mark it, we have this like RC or whatever. As long as it like makes sense, like that's fine. We're not really strict about that. Date of latest version. That's nice to have. So at time of recording, it's April 9th of 2023. We have it in year, month, day, and you kind of got to stick to that. The editors used is useful because like mod authors put a lot of time into their tools, and I think it's important that they get proper credit. If you've ever like released anything, a lot of what people do is they just copy from a previous like mod that they have. Like I just copied from Canon's close parenthesis here, and like the tools that I use don't really change. If not, then if it's your first time, then you can probably just copy from another page. You wouldn't use the exact same tools, but that's fun. If you have something that's not like that doesn't exist, you gotta like put it in like this format where you have the link and then preview text, like basic. Oh, there's no pipe actually. Basically, what you see for the download, and that's to link to any like external source. I think a lot of the image editing software, like Paint.net, doesn't have its own page. Oh, I should probably mention, if you have like these two brackets here, this is like to a page that's on the wiki. If you only have one, it means it's like an external link. So Super BMD 3ds Max, all these like specific modding tools will basically, most of them are going to have their own page, while a lot of the professional ones aren't. So we have the replaces here, and that's just so authors know, like in case they're downloading like 2 tracks from that go over Luigi Circuit, just in case that's going to be an issue with like collisions with slots. They're warned about it here, so I guess Toadette's Mine can go over DK Mountain. Sure. And then the download, I'm just gonna copy the one from Candace, close parenthesis, but yeah, the one restriction on this is that you have to be able to, it has to be like a free download. You shouldn't have to sign up for an account. It should be accessible by literally anyone. And also, one thing that you won't see here, because all of my mods are patch compatible, there is this one tool called the Mario Kart Double Dash Patcher, and basically that will take like any formatted zip file and like make it easy to like put it into an ISO so you can like play it. I'll just bring up the page here. Because for like basically any Double Dash mod, it's kind of annoying if you don't have like a patcher compatible file to actually play the mod, both for tracks and characters. So just so it's a lot easier on any potential user who's not familiar with everything, if it's not patch compatible, it's still allowed, but you just have to declare it so someone can be like warned in the future that they might have to go through a few extra steps to play the mod. And then if something is not patcher compatible, I'll try to find one real quick. Well, as you can see, it's very much up here. It's just declared as such as a forewarning to the user. But back to Toadette's Mine, I'm going to show preview now, just so you can see the filled out, at least this right box here. As you can see, it looks kind of like the one for Canon's, which is here. Anyway, let's go back to editing. Overview is just where you can write about the track. They usually start out the same way, like blank is it's a custom track. If it's not a custom track, you'll have to replace this with like retro or something. but this is a custom track, and then you have your user page, which is basically like the same like link that's shown up in this box. And then you can just add anything here. The only thing I ask is that you don't use first person. I think recently I edited a page to remove second person, but I was like, no, that's too restrictive. So just don't do first person, just do third or second. So like it was originally created as a Mario Kart Wii custom track for the Spin the Wheel competition. It takes place in a mine owned by Toadette. And there's a village as well, or something. Just like an overview of the track. It can be as simple as like the first sentence. Fine, that's fine. You don't have to be elaborate, but you can if you want. Then we have the media. We really appreciate it if you have a media, just so people kind of like know what they're downloading beforehand, and also it's like a great way to like show off your mod, get people interested in it. I generally like to have YouTube links, and that is the most common form of what the media is. You just have the video code, which is like the thing after the unlike YouTube. It's like that very last bit. And yeah, you can also upload files to the wiki, like images through here. And then you can do that as well, but YouTube is just the best one. And then at the bottom we have the version history, which is like all the changes it's gone through. So if it's your first release, you just gotta copy the date in from date of latest release in the box, and then it's like first release. So let's actually show the page at this stage. You can see we have cannons, version history, first release, with the date and the overview. And then finally, there's the user link. The user link is, I guess, the formal definition for those little boxes you see at the bottom. I guess we can just have. So I already have a user link because I've released something before, and it's going to show up here at the bottom. If you've never released anything before, you can like add whatever you want, and then like either if you don't create it, a mod will create one for you and place it in your track. And this is just so people can like be, oh, I like this track, I wonder what else they've made. Oh, I can click here. Just another way to like, I guess, spread the word about your own mods. And this is the basic page creation. There's no like big obvious mistakes that I notice. So afterwards you can just save changes and boom, your edit was saved, and that's cool. So at this point, like the initial page creation of like the content itself is basically the only thing that a releasing author quote like has to do. All the steps I'm going to show now is stuff that can be done by a moderator. Like I would appreciate it if you did this stuff, but you don't really have to if you're too lazy. So first we gotta update the user link thing here, because Toadette's Mine isn't listed, and for this I'm actually not gonna like save the page, because that's just more work for me to undo after I finish recording. But you're gonna want to search in template user dash then your username dash link, and you might see it there. Then you want to click on edit. The organization of your own user link is something that's completely up to you. I have it, and when I edit other people's user links, I have it in order of release, but it's completely up to you how you want to like organize it. I'm going to do the n dash, which is just like a dash, and then add the link to the page, which is Toadette's Mine, which is just like the title earlier. And I want to show preview and not save because you don't need to see it. Cool, so I'm just going to cancel this. Next thing to update would be the list of pages that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. In this case, Toadette's Mine would be an original custom track because I made it from scratch. And you want to click on track list edit. And this page should be kept alphabetical. Just because for organizational purposes. So I'm gonna add like a new line. That's not correct. It's like this. Usually I just copy and paste previous entries, but it'd be Toadette's Mine, which is the same link. Then I want to add in my author link, and then the date of latest release, and the date of latest, date of first release and the date of latest release, which if you're releasing something new is just going to be the same thing. And then see, now we added Toadette's Mine, and it looks good. Cancel this change. Then there's the news 2023. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Edit. And all of them follow the same format of like user link. User page released. And then for a new release, it'd be like released and then the version of the custom track. And then we have the 3 single quotes, which will bold it. Toadette's Mine. Close that. And show preview. So you can see here. So at this point, a moderator is going to see the fact that you released a mod, and then want to go through and make any additional edits to the page that are necessary. A lot of the time, this is just fixing up basic grammar mistakes or like adding links where necessary. If you haven't done any of the steps beyond the initial page, which is fine, by the way, you don't have to do that. A moderator is going to add those changes as well. And finally, the thing that only a moderator can do is edit the latest releases. The News 2023 page isn't like the same as the latest releases. They're very similar, but not exactly the same, and only a moderator can edit the latest releases. So that's the process of releasing a mod on the wiki. I hope that this has been helpful and not too overwhelming. As a final note, I want to thank everyone who has, I guess, contributed to this wiki over the past 2+ years. I think it's 2 years and a month about now. When we started out, the latest releases stretched back like a year basically, and now it stretches back a week, and it's becoming more active, at least at time of recording, every day. So thanks for the past 2 years, and here's to 2+ more.